G'day YouTubers, how you all going? My name's Wilfred, West Wilfred's PC World, Lakeside Cottage in Loch Sport, Victoria, Australia. Today's date is the 21st of the 2nd, 2015, and it's about 9 to 9 in the morning, with the current temperature about 20 degrees outside. I hope you like this video, and if so, please subscribe.
For example, the communications to restore power to that, and then also at the moment they're being residents being urged to conserve water because at the moment the pumps don't have power supply. So in terms of pumping water around from the dam, that's not happening. So that will be the focus in terms of restoring power. So residents are being urged to be patient. Could be days, even weeks before power is restored to the region.
You're listening to ABC News Radio.
12 years now, the United Nations is investigating whether Australia breached international law when it sent 4 asylum seekers found at sea back to Sri Lanka nearly 2 weeks ago. This week, Immigration Minister Peter Duncan revealed Australia had sent the men back after they were intercepted on a boat on the Cocos Islands. They were then interviewed on board the border protection vessel. Duncan said it has this screening process. Mr. Duncan says they will determine a very strong message to people smugglers. When HDR's Geneva-based spokesman for Asia and the Americas, Barbara Baloch, says this concern for Australia might have
We have been in touch with the Australian authorities on Canberra is in touch. Colleagues have conveyed that there have been notes of assurances from the Minister for Immigration and Border Protection yesterday that all persons were individually interviewed to determine whether they engaged Australia's non-refoulement obligation under international law and other safeguards. But UNHCR's point of view is that seeking asylum is not illegal. It's a fundamental right under international law. Whenever vessels presumed to be carrying asylum seekers are intercepted, when there are indications that there are people who are in need of international protection on board, we ask for individual screening in the swift asylum or refugee status determination procedure. And in UNHCR, such screening is best carried out on land, given safety concerns and other limitations of doing so at sea.
We've heard from the Immigration Minister, Peter Dutton, who said that the interviews were conducted and they were determined not to be refugees and that Australia wants to send a strong message to the people smugglers.
I think people in need of international protection shouldn't be victims in this case because as we have seen a lot of people who take these risky journeys in the sea, they are actually running away from persecution and they already have their lives in danger. So if it's done in a hasty manner, it would further put them at risk, and we have been conveying these concerns to Australia from time to time.
We've heard from Mr. Dutton saying he was confident Sri Lankan authorities would act in a responsible way, that most Australians would see as a fair deal. What do you say to that?
We hope so, but the thing is, it will be unfair for those individuals if they were in need of international protection and they have been sent back. That will be of great concern to us.
Do you think this breaches international law?
I can't say that for now, but that's the reason we are seeking more information on that, and we are saying that the obligation of non-refoulement, which means that people who are in need of international protection shouldn't be sent back because their lives are at risk. It applies to Australia and wherever Australia has these vessels that have people who are in need of international protection, either inside Australian waters or beyond that, that obligation applies to Australia.
And there was the Barbara Baloch, the UNHCR biggest creditor, Germany, has been taking a hard line on calls for any extension, insisting on more reform commitments from Athens. The ABC's Mary Guerin has more on those developments in Brussels. The details are still emerging. The IMF chief, Christine Lagarde, described the document that the agreement has come in as a deep and dense document. But the headlines essentially are this, that there's going to be a 4-month extension to the loan agreement for Greece. Now that's in contrast to the 6 months that it had proposed. And also what the European creditors are asking Greece to do, saying that Greece has to do, is to do some homework over the weekend essentially. They need to say what reforms they're going to provide to make sure that they keep to the deal, and that is obviously something that Germany is going to be very happy with, because Germany wanted that greater accountability. So Greece needs to go away and talk about their reform ambitions by Monday, and then that will be assessed by the institutions, and then if that goes ahead and all of this is passed off by all of the national governments around the Eurozone, then the next step will be April, and that will be another deadline to see.
Staying with cricket, the Australian team preparing as normal ahead of today's World Cup game against Bangladesh, despite the distinct possibility that the game would be washed out thanks to the effects of ex-tropical cyclone Marcia. The team trained indoors in Brisbane yesterday, with captain Michael Clark looking solid in the nets and stressing that despite the weather it has to be business as usual.
My mindset and our team's mindset is to make sure we are as well prepared as we can be, so training today is important, and then tomorrow our mind is that the game's going to go ahead, but up until we are told that the game's off, we're expecting to play.
New Zealand sitting on top of the group, with Australia also in after they take their third straight win, demolishing England by 8 wickets in Wellington yesterday. New Zealand captain Brendan McCullum scored the fastest World Cup 50 in history before being bowled. That took 18 balls before he was bowled for 77 off just 25 as the side chased down England's total of 123 in 12 overs. Earlier, Kiwi fast bowling from South into his 7 for 33. It's no wonder Brendan McCullum was enjoying himself.
Well, you hope that if everything works out, that you might be able to have a better performance, but to win by that sort of margin is pretty a little, I guess, bizarre really. So, really good performance. We're giving ourselves a nice break now as well, leading into the Australian game, but we'll enjoy this performance. It's been a good first week of the tournament.
Today's racing in Lisbon and Brisbane have been abandoned as a result of ex-tropical cyclone Marcia continuing to ruin Queensland's weekend of sport. Durban had more than 100 millimetres of rain in 24 hours to yesterday afternoon. Racing Queensland to make the early call to abandon the meeting after the track inspection. Other weekend meetings in the area include Gold Coast, Woomera and Warwick. They are all also being damaged. So rugby news, the Melbourne Rebels say they'll learn from their mistakes after pushing the Waratahs all the way last night and losing. Premier champions won 38-28, but it took a late Kirby Peel try and pulled the Tars to snatch it. The Rebels captain Scott Higginbotham was delighted with the positives his team showed.
Yeah, we won't look at the second half too much, I think. The first half, we were really piggybacking them out of their own half. Was, I think they did it at the end, but as I said, credit to them, they hung in there and got the top of us.
Last night's other game, the last-minute penalty, sank Brumbies' hopes of victory against the Chiefs of New Zealand. The Chiefs with 19 points to 17 in New Zealand. Aaron Crew breaking Brumbies' heart for the last kick of the game. And a decision will be made this morning whether the Super Rugby fixture between the Reds and Western Force will take place in Brisbane, given the state of the inclement weather in Queensland. Last night's game that was scheduled to be played at Lang Park in the A-League between Brisbane Roar and Melbourne Victory was cancelled. It doesn't look too encouraging for the Super Rugby fixture tonight. Australian Red Bull Formula 1 driver Daniel Ricciardo has just outpaced Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen and Williams' Felipe Massa on the second day of the pre-season testing in Barcelona. The three cars were separated by less than 0.1 of a second at the halfway point in preparations for the new season. Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, the world champion Mercedes team, finished 5th and 6th fastest. Pre-season testing times are slightly unreliable indicators of teams' real competitiveness though, as the teams don't publish the fuel loads they're using, which can have a huge effect on lap times. Football Perth Glory's players say the incident which led to the arrest of Andy Keogh and Josh Risdon has given them all a wake-up call. Keogh and Risdon are due to face court next month after an incident in Adelaide in the early hours of Monday morning. Glory are on the road again this week to face Melbourne City. The midfielder Mitch Nichols says the players are determined to put a difficult route behind them.
You see by training yesterday and today that everyone probably is going to set up the gear. It's good on the backside of the head, and it's been a taking on the positive on that.
Sydney FC take on the will be played in extreme heat conditions with the mercury set to 40 degrees. And in
capacity of intelligence agencies to access metadata as absolutely crucial. His words, not mine. Now, any responsible government is going to take the advice of its policing authorities, is going to take the advice of its national security authorities. There is a lot of special pleading going on here by people who don't want to see this reform. The Australian government, the Abode government, I as the Attorney General, are absolutely determined to do what we need to do to keep Australians safe, and we are advised by our national security and policing agencies that this is an essential measure.
Okay, but when it comes to fighting terrorism, if we look at the US example, Richard Clark, who was on President Obama's NSA review panel, he said that we don't need the government to be retaining data when it comes to fighting terrorism.
Well, at that point, there's absolutely no point in quoting to me a number of random individuals, because as I've already acknowledged, there is a variety of views about the views the Australian government will be taking most seriously are the views of our own intelligence community and policing agencies, and their advice to government scrutinised critically during the last Parliament by the Parliament's Intelligence Committee is unambiguous, and it is a fact.
Is it the case that the kind of people who want to avoid scrutiny could do so fairly easily under your bill? Your departmental officials have acknowledged data retention could be circumvented by using offshore-based email providers like Gmail, or similarly avoid scrutiny by using public libraries, by using public Wi-Fi, and also by using messaging apps. Doesn't that mean there's a lot of loopholes in this legislation?
Well, our job is to have a suite of measures in place which will be as effective as possible in identifying and breaking down terrorism networks, and it is absolutely no answer to that proposition that it may be possible in some circumstances that measures can be avoided. Measures can always be avoided. That's what criminals do. Criminals constantly devise ways to avoid detection by law enforcement authorities, and that is an argument why law enforcement and intelligence authorities have to be more astute, not less astute, to stay one step ahead of them. The one respect in which we are way behind the game in Australia today is in relation to data retention, and that is why the Abode government is determined. We expect with bipartisan support to do what is necessary to fill that gaping hole in our intelligence and policing capability.
In a statement from the Prime Minister's office last night in relation to Abode Premiere, it said, and I quote, "There's no place in our community for organisations or individuals who nurture extremism, propagate hatred and radicalise vulnerable young Australians." Does that mean you're about to ban Abode Premiere?
The Prime Minister addressed that issue in his speech to the National Press Club a fortnight ago. We are concerned about Abode Premiere. We are concerned about the promotion and the radicalisation of young people to create a climate which facilitates the work of terrorist recruiters, and we're looking very carefully about it.
They're not banned in the US, they're not banned in the UK, Canada or France. It seems like they're only banned in undemocratic countries. Are you looking at that?
That's not correct either. They're banned, for example, in Germany.
They're not banned in Germany, they're banned from certain organisational issues in public, but they're not actually banned in Germany.
They are banned in Germany, and you should get your facts straight. We are looking at this matter very carefully because Abode Premiere, for a long time, has been very close to the edge. We are concerned that Abode Premiere is feeding a climate which makes it easier for the terrorist recruiters to do their work. And you may not wish to hear this, Steve, but I can promise you that this government, the Abode government, will do whatever it needs to do to keep Australians safe, and that means cracking down on those who promote a climate of hatred and violence.
Okay, I guess the question is, though, is it counterproductive? Because terrorism expert Clyde Williams says he doubts that the banning of Abode Premiere would achieve anything desirable of useful purpose. He says they have an effective internal system for operating underground. Isn't it easier to monitor their activities if they're out in the open?
We will do that which we need to do. In some circumstances, monitoring and surveillance is the most efficacious
Typical
tool.
fucking politician that never answers the question.
That is why, as I've said, we're looking at this.
The Attorney General George Brandner speaking from Washington to Steve Kinane, and following that interview, the ABC rang with the German Ministry for Interior spokesperson
1,000 animals. Dog ownership in Iran is frowned upon as a Western import, and the animals are considered impure in Islamic teaching if they live inside.
Hi, Dr. Derek here. Every state in Australia has some kind of anti-corruption body. So why don't we have one at the federal level? Is it because Canberra Collins and public servants are more honest than everyone else? But how well does the state system actually work? Are there definitions of corruption on the money? And should hearings be held in public or in private? Corruption busting, that's coming up on the Law Report this morning, 10:30 Eastern Time, right here on ABC News Radio.
9:30 Eastern Daylight Time, 9 o'clock in South Australia, 8:30 in Queensland, 8 o'clock in the Northern Territory, 6:30 in the West.
ABC News Radio.
Good morning, Mike Gardner with the headline stories. And Senior Cabinet Minister Matthias Cormann says a newspaper report that the Prime Minister was pushing to send thousands of Australian ground troops to Iraq unilaterally is wrong. The Australian newspaper is reporting that late last year, Tony Abbott suggested Australia should send 3,500 ground troops to fight Islamic State in Iraq. The report says the Prime Minister raised the idea with the nation's leading military planners, but was told sending Australian forces without US or NATO support would be disastrous. Senator Cormann has told Sky News the Prime Minister did not seek such advice.
Sunwater says it was an automatic release.
Not what we're looking for. Let's see if we can get him up now, and let's have a look. Yep, here's Matthias Cormann now.
That story is wrong. The Prime Minister never sought such advice, and may I say that my advice is that the journalist who wrote that story actually never put that proposition to the Prime Minister's office when seeking comment.
Authorities are working to evacuate about 45 residents from the small central Queensland town of Jambun as flooding from ex-tropical cyclone Marcia begins to be felt. The Callide River broke its banks overnight, as Matt Watson reports.
Sunwater says it was an automatic release of water from the Callide Dam that's flooded the Callide River, which has reached 9 metres. Several properties have been flooded. The Mayor, Ron Carriage, says most residents have taken shelter at the Jambun State School, but council is trying to contact any remaining residents. He says those at the school will be evacuated to the Billawheeler Civic Centre.
As soon as we can get helicopters in, we'll bring them in to get everyone that we know of out.
Queensland Fire and Emergencies Brian Cox says that will impact about 45 people.
They're just concerned about the local river rising beyond sort of normal levels, and so just as a precaution.
Sunwater says the water in the Callide River is starting to recede.
And there may be further evacuations from nearby Division. Police, they're assessing the threat from floodwaters, and they may use helicopters to airlift about 50 local residents out. Restoring power is the priority in Rockhampton as the cyclone cleanup continues, and Louise Ravkets is there.
Most of Rockhampton's 80,000 residents spent the night in darkness with power cut across the town. People are still coming to terms with the severe winds which tore roofs of houses when Cyclone Marcia ripped through Rockhampton yesterday. There's been more than 350 reports of structural damage to homes and businesses. One family spent the night in the evacuation centre at the showground. Hundreds of trees have been uprooted. Streets are littered with debris, including glass and sheet metal. SES crews are being deployed. 300 Ergon energy workers are arriving from North Queensland this morning to restore power. Critical infrastructure the first priority. Defence planes will conduct aerial surveys to determine where emergency crews should be sent first.
And there's been a reprieve from intense rain on the New South Wales far north coast, but more rain is on the way. Flood warnings remain in place for the Tweed, Wilsons and Brunswick rivers, and a flood watch is current for waterways south to Nambucca. Andrew Hay from the Bureau of Meteorology says a trough associated with Cyclone Marcia is causing a low to form off the coast. But he says there's been some relief in the past few hours.
There has been a lull overnight in the rain, but it's largely cleared out in the Northern Rivers District, particularly the north of the Mid-North Coast District and eastern part of the Northern Tablelands District. We are expecting some heavy rainfall during today in those areas.
And a state of emergency has been declared for parts of the top end hardest hit by severe tropical cyclone Lam. Homes have been destroyed in some areas, and those that are left without power, also water and sewage, so quite a few affected in that way. The Northern Territory's Emergency Services Minister Peter Chandler says that the declaration will allow facilities and services to be restored ASAP. Cyclone Lam has now been down Senator Nick Xenophon says the federal government's pledge that at least 500 new Australian jobs will be delivered through the project to build Australia's next generation of submarines is insulting. The federal government is looking at France, Germany and Japan in its search for a potential partner to build the vessels. Defence Minister Kevin Andrews says it's not yet known if the sub will be built in Australia, overseas or through a combination of both options. Senator Xenophon says 500 jobs is small compared to the total number of jobs that the project will generate.
It will mean literally thousands of direct and indirect jobs will not be sustained in this country as a result of an overseas build. Why would we as a nation want to export $20 billion plus of jobs overseas?
Indonesia's president has revealed he was close to responding to Prime Minister Abode's comments linking tsunami aid to the fate of the 2 Australians on death row in Bali. Alan Brown sent this from Jakarta.
The President, Joko Widodo, says he was going to respond to the comments, but the Vice President advised him that it was not what they meant. Indonesia's Deputy Leader Yusuf Kala spoke to Australia's Foreign Affairs Minister Julie Bishop, who he says expressed regret over the misunderstanding and talked of the ongoing relationship between the two countries in many areas. The President denied clemency to Andrew Chan and Maya Sukumaran, who now face execution. Australia has been consistently requesting a stay of execution and new consideration of the case. Helen Brown, ABC News, Jakarta.
An emergency meeting of Eurozone finance ministers in Brussels has agreed to a 4-month extension of Greece's bailout, buying time for the cash-strapped nation. The ABC's Mary Gearing.
Details are still emerging, but the Eurogroup has announced it's agreed to a 4-month extension of the loan agreement instead of 6 months as proposed by Greece. Greece must also produce a list of reforms by Monday to ensure the country complies with the conditions of the agreement. That will please Germany, that was demanding greater accountability. The 4-month extension means Greece has just postponed its problems to the summer, but its vital breathing space amid fears the looming deadline for the current bailout deal would see Greece crash out of the euro. Mary Gearin, ABC News.
Also overseas, at least 10 people have been killed and several politicians injured by a car bomb left in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. ABC's Africa correspondent, Martin Cunningham.
The Central Hotel is a favourite of politicians in Mogadishu. On Friday afternoon, a car bomb detonated outside before another suicide bomber blew himself up inside the hotel complex. Witnesses said gunfire could be heard after the explosion. The policeman at the scene said several politicians have been injured. The Al-Qaeda-linked Al-Shabaab terrorist group has claimed responsibility for the attack. For years, they have been fighting with the UN-backed government for control of the country. Earlier this month, the group assassinated another member of parliament, Martin Cunningham, ABC News.
Back home, the New South Wales health authorities are still searching for the source of a deadly outbreak of salmonella poisoning in the Illawarra region, with the 28th case now detected. As Nick McLaren reports.
The outbreak has mainly occurred in nursing homes run or supplied by the Illawarra Retirement Trust. The IRT says 25 of the cases, including the latest, occurred at one of its facilities. 2 people have died since the salmonella first appeared on the 21st of January. Early investigations focused on salad as the possible source, but health authorities this week temporarily closed down a bakery supplying cakes and pies. It was later cleared and the search continues. Nick McLaren, ABC News, Wollongong.
Through the finance figures, the Dow this morning gained 154 points, finishing at 18,140. That's its first record of this year. The S&P, it rose 12 points, finishing at 2,110, and the Nasdaq Composite jumped 31 points, closing at 4,955. The Australian dollar, 78.42 US cents. Sport now with Ben Coles.
Thanks very much, Mike. Cricket officials remain hopeful that today's World Cup game between Australia and Bangladesh at the Gabba will go ahead despite the ongoing wet weather conditions across southeast Queensland. Rain and possible storm forecast in Brisbane, as much as 100 millimetres of rain as ex-tropical cyclone Marsha continues to move down the Queensland coast. The International Cricket Council says the game will go ahead with a delayed start if possible, but if it can't, it won't be moved to another day. That will mean that unless 20 overs are completed, the result will be a no result, so to speak, and both teams will get 1 point. Now, there's a game started in Christchurch this morning. West Indies taking on Pakistan. It's a crucial game for both of them. West Indies have been put into bat by Pakistan, and Pakistanis have done well. They've got rid of danger man Chris Gale for just 4, and Dwayne Smith, the other opener, is just out now. He's being caught by Haris Sohail, bowled Sohail Khan. Currently, the West Indies of 8 overs are 2 for 29. Gold Coast Titans officials say they can't guarantee the playing futures of Beau Falloon or Jamie Dowling. The pair have been stood down from training and playing after they were implicated in the same drug trafficking investigation as Carmichael Hunt. The 2 Titans players in Queensland Red Star will appear in court on the 5th of March in relation to allegations of drug supplying. Gold Coast Titans Chief Executive Graham Mosley says the pair's future will be decided after their court appearance.
Well, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's see what happens on the 5th of March. You'll obviously find
My name's Wilfred West, Wilfred's PC World, Lakeside Cottage in Loch Sport, Victoria, Australia, signing off. Thank you for watching my videos, and all comments are welcome. You all have a great day now.
I don't know what the result of that